Revenge films.
I'm Sarah. From a young age, I was somewhat frail and often fell ill. Because of this, I admired strong men. When I was 20, I met Brian, who embodied the image of a strong and reliable man. He was always confident and assertive. Before we got married, he was kind to me, but there were times when I felt a slight sense of unease. He came off as tough and a bit old-fashioned, so I thought maybe he's the type who likes to take charge in the household. I recall thinking that to myself once, but that carefree attitude only lasted until we got married. Right after the wedding, he made me quit my job. He insisted passionately.
A real man would never let his wife work outside. Quit your job and stay home where you belong. Understood?
So I became a full-time housewife, taking care of all the household chores like cleaning, cooking, and laundry, while financial management was entirely under his control. At first, it was bearable, but as time went on, his behavior and words became increasingly intense. I did my best to make sure he could relax and feel comfortable when he came home, like laying out his clothes and underwear and filling the tub. I also made sure the food was ready to eat immediately. He disliked cold food as well as reheating it in the microwave.
Eating freshly cooked food is the best. Reheating it in the microwave is just wrong,
he would say. I was constantly stressed about making sure his food was hot and ready the second he sat down. Whenever I was slow, he would scold me, saying,
"How dare you make me wait when I come home hungry after work?"
And if I served the food too early, he would sigh deeply and yell.
You know I hate cold food, right? Are you making fun of me?
It wasn't just the food he criticized. He found fault with everything, from the way I folded the laundry to how I cleaned the house. But what I found especially difficult was the morning. He would say,
"Hey, as a wife, you should be waking up earlier than me and getting things done. Why are you, a housewife, still in bed when I'm up, huh? Wake up 2 hours earlier and get more chores done."
From then on, I was obligated to wake up 2 hours earlier than him. Of course, if I received criticism, I would immediately try to fix it, but even when I made improvements, he would forcibly find new faults and hurl insults at me. I became sleep-deprived and emotionally unstable. Even so, I endured it and tried my best to handle all the household chores. Having little life experience and being in my first marriage, I didn't realize how abnormal the situation was. On one of his days off, he shook me awake and shouted,
"Hey, get up already! How lazy can you be? Didn't you promise to wake up 2 hours earlier than me to get the chores done? You can't even keep a promise like that!"
I felt feverish and sluggish. It was clear that I wasn't feeling well. When I told him, he just scoffed at me and said,
"Oh, please! How can a housewife who just does household chores be sick?"
And added,
"Don't even think of using a fake illness as your excuse for oversleeping."
"Then get the thermometer. I'm sure I have a fever."
Shut up! Your face is red from embarrassment, not fever, and you're just making excuses to slack off. How ridiculous!
Stress had likely weakened my immune system, and the constant lack of sleep only made things worse. It's no wonder I ended up sick.
A wife should put her husband first, not complain about a little fever. Sick or not, you're a housewife. Get over it and start working. Drop the fake act and make breakfast already.
I was in poor condition, but his loud demands were impossible to ignore. Dragging my heavy body, I forced myself to get up and prepare breakfast, but his angry shouts followed soon after.
Seriously? How long does it take to make breakfast? And this is all you make? Ham and egg on toast and salad? Pathetic! Breakfast is the most important meal and you can't even get that right! Stop being lazy and make it again!
What? I can't make a fancy dinner-style meal right now?
Stop whining! Even if you're really sick, it's your own fault for not taking better care of yourself! You brought this on yourself! Hurry up and make breakfast again and get to cleaning and laundry!
I somehow managed to get through the day, but by the evening, I collapsed onto the couch completely exhausted. All that was left was preparing dinner. He smirked and said,
"See, you were just trying to slack off. You were able to do it, right? Don't think you can fool me. I see through all your lies."
My condition worsened to the point where the over-the-counter medicines were ineffective. When I measured my temperature, it looked like 105 degrees Fahrenheit, though I might have been mistaken. He shouted,
"Make dinner!"
and snatched the thermometer from me, so I couldn't double-check. I couldn't go any further, so I ordered takeout for his dinner, but...
Stop being lazy with your cooking! Takeout costs a fortune! Do you even realize whose money you're wasting?
Please, this is just today. I'm really not feeling well.
Shut up! Stop whining! Get up and make dinner! Hurry!
But as I unsteadily got to my feet...
What kind of ridiculous act is that? Can't you stand like a normal person?
I suddenly collapsed. He clicked his tongue in annoyance, not caring about me at all, grabbed the takeout meal and walked to his room. Crawling, I reached for my phone and called an ambulance. Please help me. I'm not feeling well. That was the last thing I remembered. Afterward, I was apparently rushed to the hospital. I was shocked to learn that I had been unconscious for 3 days. They told me I had been in critical condition, but I was fine now. I also heard that my husband argued with the paramedics during the transport.
She isn't sick, she just fainted.
He reportedly claimed that, but in reality, I was lying on the floor, struggling. It seemed like the paramedics identified him as a person to watch out for. When I regained consciousness, he immediately came to my hospital room, and after making sure no one was around, he threatened me, saying,
Hey, you didn't say anything unnecessary, right?
Unnecessary?
Quit acting like you don't know. Like how I've been treating you badly. I'm the real victim here. Because you called an ambulance, the whole neighborhood was in chaos. Now get back home and do your chores already. Hurry!
The doctor advised me to stay in the hospital for a while. Seems like stress had weakened my immune system, which caused a virus that wouldn't usually affect a healthy person, but it became severe in my case.
Huh. See, it's clearly your fault. Any normal adult would have handled it, but you couldn't. What does that say about you? You're nothing but a complete failure.
You never fail to pick only the convenient bits to argue back. But at the end of the day, it all started because you made me work when I was already feeling sick. He gave me a hateful glare and left. I was able to stand up to him firmly, thanks to the support I received from the doctors and nurses. One nurse, who's the same age as me, even said, I hate to say it, but your husband is a failure as a human being. If he doesn't like takeouts, he should cook for himself. Hearing such honest opinions from others made me realize just how abnormal my situation was. A few days later, I received a call from my husband's company. Seemed like he had told them,
I need to take some time off to stay by my wife's side at the hospital and care for her.
When I explained that he had never once come to visit me, it became clear that his absence from work was just an excuse for slacking off. The revelation triggered a wave of dissatisfaction toward him and his company. Complaints about his compliance violations, neglect of duties, and other problematic behavior began to surface. One day, he stormed into my hospital room and shouted,
How dare you pull a stunt like this? Do you even realize I could get fired because of this?
I just told the truth. And after all the times you told me to put in more effort, it turns out you were the one slacking off at work. So who's the one lacking responsibility when it comes to their job?
What did you just say, you bit?
Cause any more trouble and I'll press the nurse call button. But he kept shouting until a nurse stepped in to intervene. I divorced him, citing his emotional abuse as the reason, and demanded $10,000 in compensation. Word of his misconduct spread, and he faced cold looks and harsh criticism from everyone. Before he could be officially fired, he resigned on his own. I heard he later collapsed from stress, but I feel no sympathy for him. He deserves this.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.